The Saudi Arabian Football League is sweeping the market in Europe this summer. Back in January, Cristiano Ronaldo made the move to Al Nassr, paving the way for many other stars to follow him. But what is driving these world-class footballers to turn their attention to the Middle East? Reports suggest that Ronaldo is now on a staggering £173 million contract in Saudi Arabia, while players like Lionel Messi have been offered $500 million per year to join the league. How many more stars will leave Europe this summer? Why did Saudi Arabia suddenly become a preferred destination for football players? And what role do the owners of Newcastle and Chelsea in the Premier League have in these high-profile transfers? This is the controversial story of the Saudi Professional League's rise to the top of footballers' wish lists. If we want to uncover the complete story of this Super League, we need to take a trip back to the 1950s when professional football first emerged in Saudi Arabia. During that time, the majority of players in the league were local talents, and renowned stars like Cristiano Ronaldo, Luis Gustavo, and Pep Guardiola had never ventured into the lesser-known football leagues of the Middle East. The King's Cup, which continues to this day, was the sole national tournament in the country, but that changed in the following decades. The league we now call the Saudi Professional League was established in 1976 and marked the beginning of the first-ever professional league in Saudi Arabia. 8 teams competed in the first season before the league expanded into a 10-team division the following year. Today, it is a league based on 18 teams, with Al Hilal, Al Nassr, and Al Ittihad being among the most famous ones. The start of the 1980s showed significant growth for Saudi Arabian football, with the national team winning 3 Asian Cups from 1984 to 1996. During the same period, they also secured a place in the round of 16 in their first World Cup participation in 1994. The tournament took place in the United States, and Saudi Arabia secured second place in a group that included the Netherlands, Belgium, and Morocco. Since then, they have participated in 5 World Cups, but have been unable to progress beyond the group stage. Their latest entry was in Qatar, where they actually defeated Lionel Messi and Argentina in the first match of the group stage. The success of the national team contributed to the growth of the Saudi Professional League, but the biggest stars from Europe and South America had yet to turn their attention to the largest country in the Middle East. In the 2000s, the league became fully professional, and 4 teams qualified for the AFC Champions League every year. While Saudi Arabia primarily scouted players from South America, rival nations took a different approach. Pep Guardiola actually played in Qatar in the final years of his career, and players like Batistuta, Xavi, Juninho, and Raul followed soon after. The trend of recruiting high-profile players to the Middle East is not a recent phenomenon, and Saudi Arabia seeks to be a part of this landscape. It all began when Newcastle was acquired by a group founded in Saudi Arabia back in 2021. The country wanted to be a part of the football environment in Europe and followed in the footsteps of Qatari-owned Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City's ownership from the United Arab Emirates. These 2 countries are often considered significant rivals for Saudi Arabia, and it was only a matter of time before the largest and most influential country in the Middle East embarked on its journey to dominate professional football. Their initial step involved establishing a presence in the Premier League, and in the autumn of 2021, they successfully acquired Newcastle, despite facing considerable criticism. Right from the start, they invested heavily, bringing in star players like Kieran Trippier, Bruno Guimaraes, and Alexander Isak to strengthen the team in Northern England. Just 2 years later, they secured a spot in the Champions League for the upcoming 2023-2024 season. The next stage of the process began this year when one of the greatest footballers of all time, Cristiano Ronaldo, left Manchester United and signed a contract with Al Nassr in the Saudi Arabian League. He is currently the highest-paid footballer on the planet, with a reported salary of £173 million. Upon finalizing the move, the 37-year-old stated the following: "This is not the end for me. The Saudi Arabian League is very competitive, although people may not know that. For an aging Ronaldo, the league may present a challenge, but as of today, the Saudi Professional League is ranked 58th, below leagues such as the Scottish Premiership. However, Saudi Arabia had secured a spot on the map. and throughout the spring of 2023, they began Phase 2 of the long-term project. In early June, the Public Investment Fund, PIF, the owners of Newcastle, acquired the 4 biggest clubs in the league. Currently, Al Nassr, Al Hilal, Al Ahly, and Al Ittihad all share the same owners as the North England club. The PIF is considered a sovereign wealth fund of Saudi Arabia and allows a country to practically own a football club on its own, despite that being illegal. The term money laundering often comes to mind when people witness significant financial transfers to foreign countries, and Saudi Arabia is no exception. As of June 20th, the signing of N'Golo Conte for Al Ittihad has been confirmed. Winger Hakim Ziyech is nearing the completion of a deal with Ronaldo's club, Al Nassr, while Edouard Mendy is also in advanced discussions with Al Ahly. The 4th Chelsea player heading to Saudi Arabia appears to be Kalidou Koulibaly, who did not display the same quality in the Premier League as he did with Napoli in Serie A. Prior to this, Karim Benzema has been confirmed to join Al Ittihad, and Wolverhampton midfielder Ruben Neves seems to be on his way to Al Hilal. Consequently, 7 players are heading to the 4 clubs owned by the PIF, and we can expect further movement in the coming months. Additionally, Chelsea's rising star Callum Hudson-Odoi is linked to a potential move to the Middle East. In a surprising turn of events, 5 unwanted footballers from Chelsea are finding new homes in the Middle East, which provides crucial funding for Chelsea's new owner, Ted Boehly. Are you surprised? Think again. According to recent reports, the 2 parties have an excellent relationship, and the moves for unwanted players at Stamford Bridge seem to demonstrate that. Most of us can draw a connection between the 2 parties, where one of them desires significant player signings for the league, while the other seeks funding to improve a challenging financial situation in London. However, the question remains, is this a positive development for football? Football has been experiencing steady economic growth for many years, and player transfer fees have correspondingly increased. What will happen if we witness exorbitant fees for aging players from the Premier League? Could it potentially destabilize the market? Investing in sports is not a new trend in Saudi Arabia, as they have previously acquired several golf players for their own league from the PGA Tour. Moreover, the country has a strong interest in hosting the 2030 World Cup, despite it being prohibited for a region to host 2 out of 3 tournaments, considering Qatar is already hosting the 2022 World Cup. Opinions among the public are divided regarding the direction football and other sports are heading, but Saudi Arabia will undoubtedly play a significant role in shaping their future. This is a fact, and much of the story is yet to unfold. The coming years will be fascinating for the footballing world as many of its biggest stars depart Europe for the Middle East.